That's right. It's the inevitably nonsensical, yet hopefully enjoyable, After Movie Diner. If you enjoy the show and have pursued the recommended treatment from your medical providers, why not support the show on Patreon? Over at patreon.com/After Movie Diner. Rate and review the show wherever podcasts are found and rating and reviewing is possible. Even a 1-star review provides useful insights on exactly the sort of petty-minded and wretched individual who negatively reviews free entertainment they do not need to be consuming. So, without further dribbling, please put down your lemon meringues for the one, the only, John Cross.
All right, well, the After Movie Diner podcast refuses to die. We are 15 years old. We have been releasing podcasts for 15 years. And while the writing has been on the wall at least the last 5, John just stopped doing it. And while I have the PM Entertainment podcast, that is my main show now. Wherever podcasts are found, go find the PM Entertainment podcast. We've decided to start season 3 of the After Movie Diner, which we will explain what it is once we get into it. But Jim is back. Huzzah and hurrah. And there was much rejoicing. Jim is back as the co-host. It doesn't mean we won't do a few Zoom/Skype, well, they don't have Skype anymore, but Zoom episodes where I talk to other people. But the main thrust of the new After Movie Diner show is Jim is back. He's back, baby. Ooh, lovely, wonderful, awesome. Anyway, this episode you're going to enjoy very much. I'm going to let past me, because this was recorded back in March, hence talk of snow on the ground. I'm going to let past me explain just what the bloody hell's going on. All right, so we're recording now. Jim, say something for levels.
Levels.
Or say something better for levels.
Something better for levels.
All right, that'll work, I suppose. All right, Jim, as this was your idea, do you want to explain what's happening today on this episode of the After Movie Diner?
On this episode of the After Movie Diner, we are driving from a small farmhouse?
It's not really a farmhouse. It's a ranch house.
A ranch house, a small ranch house in the wilds of Connecticut.
Yeah.
Down the country roads in the middle of snowy fields to the archive in Bridgeport.
Yeah, I wasn't saying like just narrate what we're doing. I'm saying explain what your idea was.
Listen, I'm setting the bleeding scene.
And I tell you what, you're doing beautifully. There's not one inaccuracy except you think I live in a farmhouse.
Well, it's kind of farmish.
It's farm adjacent.
You could farm. You could make a farm out of this.
I could farm.
Post-apocalyptically, you could probably turn your garden into a farm. Right?
I could farm chitlins.
Yeah.
And asparagus. Anyway, carry on, yes.
So we're on this drive.
Yes, we are.
This is following at the end of a weekend where I've come up and spent time with Cross, where we watched a whole slew of 90s movies.
90s movies, because it's 90s on the After Movie Diner.
90s on the After Movie Diner.
All 90s, all the time.
All 90s, all the time.
I wish I didn't have these keys that were making all this noise, but okay, whatever.
You could probably take the keys off.
People will deal with it. I can't take the keys off, they're running the car.
No, I mean, you could remove the keychain.
No. Don't remove the keychain.
You can remove the keychain.
It's fine, stop it.
It's all part of the Foley, isn't it?
It's all part of the fun.
It's all part of the Foley.
Like, what was the movie where it had, like, outrageous Foley? That we watched... That they were trying to save it with Foley.
Oh, what was the movie that was
Freejack.
It was Freejack. It was Freejack.
All right. So yes, it's all 90s all the time on the After Movie Diner,
and we thought it'd be good on this drive that we always take from his house to the archive.
Yes.
To record the podcast.
Because we're nothing if not men of routine and habit.
Yeah, and we appreciate that a lot of people, after they see a movie, drive home from the movie in a car and discuss.
Yeah.
So much like people, the whole purpose of the movie diner is sitting in a diner after a movie discussing, this is us sitting in a car discussing the movies that we watched.
So should I change the name of the podcast to After Movie Driver?
Yeah. Oh, well, you could call it After Movie Drive-In.
Or After Mini Driver.
The After
Mini Driver, because I feel like the moment Mini Driver was a thing is well and truly over.
That's true.
So it could be also After Mini Driver.
After Mini Driver. Well, actually, I quite like that. But I also like the After Movie Drive Home.
The After Movie Drive Home. No, if it's After Movie Diner, After Movie Driver.
No, because diner is where it takes place.
Yes.
Like, it's not taking place in a driver. Do you know what I mean? Drive home. I'm telling you, it's drive home. Anyway, what movies are we going to talk about?
Ladies and germs, write in. Should it be After Movie Driver, which is a good pun on After Movie Diner, or should it be After Movie Drive Home, which is one word too many and sounds too
but has the same number of syllables.
Banter, banter, this is the banter. You've missed the banter, and here we are.
Okay, I don't like the banter song.
You don't know?
I don't think you should write the banter song in the future. But
I've ruined the banter song.
You've ruined No. You haven't ruined the banter song. The banter song ruined you.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I think that's the point.
Right.
So, what movies, because you had very firm opinions about this, what movies should we discuss?
Well, first of all, we watched... Let's just give a rundown of what we watched.
Yes.
So that people can kind of understand.
Yeah.
I had this idea recently that the 90s... Everyone's been harping on the 80s for so long, right? And then your cinephiles, they're all about the 70s, right? So... Who's talking about the 90s?
No one.
I'm sure someone out there is talking about the 90s. I'm sure someone is. And occasionally, someone will talk about Scream or some sort of well-known thing, or some sequel to something that takes place in the 90s. But ultimately, the 90s get a short shrift when it comes to podcasts, film fans, even online discourse. So I thought, well, let me have a look at 90s movies that we really loved or really liked or really enjoyed renting.
It's a groundswell of a film revolution.
It is. That we really enjoyed renting when we were, teens and going to Star Video and all that stuff. The movies that we remember. And also the movies that we maybe watched once back then and thought, was that good? and never revisited. Let me make a list of those movies and see if anyone would be interested in talking about them. I sent you said list. You picked out some movies.
I did.
And over this weekend, we picked out 6 of those films and watched them.
Yes.
And the first night we were together, we watched Hardware, which I believe is Richard Stanley's debut. I think he made short films before that, but which is his feature debut, which is basically
Terminator in a flat.
Yeah, cybernetic creature in the future goes mad in a flat. And then we followed that up with, I was like, do you want to stay on the futuristic post-apocalyptic trip?
Yes, I do.
And you were like, yes. So then we followed it up with Freejack.
I've always been curious about.
Right. It falls into... So I definitely watched Freejack back in the day. I definitely had it recorded off TV. And it was definitely one of those things that I kind of poked my nose into when I was a teen. And very often with those films... And also those films that are derided, that are sort of universally derided. I often like going back and going, right, but is it valid that they were derided? Right, so those were the 2 we watched on Friday night. And then on Saturday, what did we watch? We
Dick Tracy.
Started off with Dick Tracy, which is another one that sort of, again, post-Batman frenzy, I certainly can remember, and I think you can as well, it being marketed... very, very heavily as you loved Batman, well, now enjoy this thing.
Here's another comic book strip.
Right. With Danny Elfman doing the music and, a quirky lead and some funny characters, right? And it definitely has that feel of, well, if you felt that Batman was too serious, here comes... Because the way he makes Dick Tracy now, I think about it, is a little bit like Batman the 60s TV show. It's got a little bit of that vibe to it, you know what I mean? A lot of sets, a lot of painted backgrounds, a lot of quirky villains, that kind of thing. And I know Dick Tracy was all of that as well, but I think we probably at our age grew up much more on Batman 60s than we did on Dick Tracy. And so therefore I feel like that's more of a...
Yeah, that's fair.
If you're going back to watch 90s Dick Tracy, maybe think of it in the campy way that we think of as Batman 60s. So, then we went on to The Wrong Guy with Dave Foley, which, interestingly, considering Brain Candy was such a divisive movie for the kids in the hall, and that Dave Foley, because he was working on news radio, was one of the reasons why the kids in the hall didn't like Brain Candy. They were angry that he couldn't be around at the writing sessions, and they resented his fame and everything else. A year later, he makes The Wrong Guy, and I can only say after watching it, I wish he'd gone on and made a movie every year, because it was tremendous.
His favourite movie, apparently.
The Wrong Guy, really?
Yeah.
Oh. Well, I 100% agree with him. I think he did really, really well.
Yeah,
I mean, I still prefer Brain Candy because it has all the kids in it.
Yeah.
But in terms of Dave Foley,
in terms of a good movie,
it's on point.
Brain Candy's more of a brilliant bit of comedy.
I put Brain Candy up with Life of Brian or Holy Grail or any of those.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I put Brain Candy up with Anchorman, and like every decade has to me like the comedy film, and to me Brain Candy is it. But I'm alone in that. But I quote Brain Candy all the time.
Yeah.
Even when it's not relevant, sometimes I just say cat on my head, and I don't. It's just it is what it is. Also, because doing Kevin McDonald's voice is just fun.
Yeah, that's
it's just fun.
Yeah.
Two cows.
Two cows.
Let's just do Kids in the Horns for the rest
it's
of it.
exactly the same.
Yeah, it's exactly the same. And then after The Wrong Guy, what did we watch?
City Hall.
City Hall, a searing drama with Al Pacino and John Cusack, which we sort of said nowadays would be kind of a 10-episode TV drama, and you would probably drop out after the third episode because it was overly written and too long.
Yeah.
Whereas it's a, whatever it was,
2 hours?
just shy of 2-hour movie, perfect.
Yeah.
Chef's
Yeah,
kiss.
I had that thought too, yeah.
Yeah. And then lastly, we finished the night up with Existence. Which, the only comment I have about Existence is watching Existence in 2026 with all the AI, VR, CGI stuff that's going on. We did end the night. The last thing I said to you before you went to bed is you don't want to still be in the game.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we are every day
We are in the game. Yeah.
I feel like we need to get out of the game. I feel like
Yeah.
we need to say, Existence, pause!
Yeah.
And then wake up in a sleazy motel somewhere run by Ian Holm.
Yeah.
If only.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's what we did. That's what we watched.
Yes.
Your initial idea was, let's talk about all the movies.
Yes, that was my initial idea. This was shot down.
Well, no, it wasn't
This was
shot
shot down
I
as
said,
idiotic and impractical.
I said, well, first of all, it's a lot to talk about to really give any of the.
I mean, you didn't so much object to it, it just slapped me hard.
That's not.
And
what,
I didn't bring it back up again.
That's not really what happened. That's not really.
That's not what happened.
And that's not good improv. I should be going. Yes, I did hit you hard.
No, but you've got to protect your reputation.
It was for a good reason.
Fair-minded.
It was a good reason because it was a dumb idea. So I just thought that would be blowing through too many 90s movies in one go. And I also thought because people like it when we give things a little bit more attention, massage them,
like it's a strong word.
Cradle them, lick them. When we do that, people are like, oh, that was a satisfying lick. I felt like if we gave them lots of little, like, tongue laps, like a cat, like a kitten at a saucer of milk, they'd be like, ugh, I don't want that.
Yeah, it's more of a slather.
Yeah, whereas one big, long, satisfying lick,
from
like
to
like Jude Law sticking his tongue in Jennifer Jason Leigh's bag.
Yeah,
that's more what people are looking for.
But I think that's exactly what people are looking for. I think what you've done there is put your finger on it.
Or in it.
On people's desires.
Yeah, it's people's desires. Using a reference from the movie Existence. So, I came up with two options. To me, there were two pairings that worked very well. One was Hardware and Freejack, because they are both futuristic movies that feature musicians in prominent roles.
Yes.
Hardware has Iggy Pop and Lemmy.
Prominent is a bit
well,
strong.
Iggy Pop's voice, I guess, is prominent.
Yeah.
Iggy Pop and Lemmy, and Freejack has
Mick Jagger.
Mick Jagger.
Mick Jagger.
It's Mick Jagger. Oh wait, it's sending me this way.
Yeah, look. This is what people enjoy: the Foley, the ticking of the clock, and the questioning of the map. Is this bad? Is it sending you this way? Isn't it sending you straight up? Oh no, it's saying go left.
I'm confused.
Because the blue line says straight ahead, doesn't it?
It does. I'm going to go
left. I think it's saying...
It's the way I know. I'm going to go left.
Okay, fair enough.
It's the way I know.
All right, that's fair.
And if it adds a minute or two, that's fine because we're doing a podcast.
Yeah, good point.
Anyway, Because the other thing I have to say about this new iteration, the season 3 of the After Movie Diner,
edits.
is I'm not doing any edits.
No
Fuck
edits.
You can either listen to it because you're
life
like,
as it's lived, people.
I wonder what. Yeah, it added 1 minute. It's either, as I said,
we're driving across a beautiful bridge in a wintry landscape.
Yeah.
There's a still yet menacing river.
a still yet menacing.
Like surrounded by the cold, snowy banks.
Wow.
Of American indifference.
And this is why you're the poet.
Yeah, apparently.
And I am just the lazy ass podcast
Can't edit.
who's just like, fuck editing.
Yeah, fuck editing.
And fuck being in a diner, and let's just
Editing is for cowards.
Yeah. Yeah, we're just gonna go full bore on this shit. People who like us rambling, you are gonna love season 3. Season 3 is just gonna be ramble.
Yeah, there might even be some sneezes, I suppose, right?
Sneezes, coughs, I might fart.
Yeah.
I'm sure at one point you'll be eating something. It'll be exciting. Anyway,
that was option 1.
Option 1 was
and
sci-fi double bill.
Freejack.
Sci-fi double bill. And then the other option.
What is option 2?
Option 2. Yeah. Option 2 is Hollywood's big swings and definite misses, which is Freejack and Dick Tracy.
Yeah, which I prefer option B.
Both enormous swings, but both definite misses.
Yeah.
But we always found in the After Movie Diner, when we were doing it every week, that movies that were aiming for something but didn't quite get there, or had interesting behind-the-scenes shenanigans, were always much more interesting to talk about than, we liked it, it was good. You know, like some movie that was just, it was fun.
Or sometimes, if it was just...
God bless you.
Sorry, I wasn't actually expecting to genuinely sneeze.
Look at that. Someone sneezed.
Yeah.
There are tissues and napkins in the glove compartment.
That's why I sneezed into my hat.
We've got St. Patrick's Day blow up. That house there has inflatables for every holiday.
Wow, it's really getting a head start on St. Patrick's Day.
It must be exhausting.
Is it March? Like officially March?
Every
today?
time October comes around, I go, I love Halloween, but I don't really have to put up all the decorations again. No. He puts up an inflatable every single month.
Wow.
Yeah. Valentine's Day last month, Patrick's Day this month. I mean, every month.
What's April?
I don't know. Probably has a giant
like
inflatable cloud with rain in it. April showers or something.
April shower.
Or a daffodil.
Daffodil, yeah.
Daffodil would be right. Daffodil. Or, I mean, what says April more than daffodil? Or crocus.
Literally nothing.
Crocus?
Crocus?
Crocus. Is it crocus?
I would assume it would be crocus singular, crocus plural.
Okay. Well, anyway,
I know my Latin.
So we decided on, if we go back in time and think about our Latin. So we decided on 2 swings and misses, which I like because I feel of all the movies we watched over the last 2 days, those were the 2 movies that legitimately in the 90s I watched, rented, recorded off TV, whatever. The other ones were all movies from the 90s that I've seen in the last 30 years. But I can't say that they were ones that we were renting from Star Video at any point.
Existence I did see in the cinema.
Right.
So that counts.
But Existence is late 90s, right?
Yeah,
Existence
99.
is
Yeah,
99,
yeah.
right.
But I agree, I'd never seen any of them except Existence.
Right.
Existence was the only one.
The other thing that everyone needs to know is that because we're driving along and because there is no editing and because we're just talking about this stuff, we will probably, we're not going to be able to look up dates, actors, information. We're not going to be able
speculate.
to. You can speculate.
My speculation.
You have a phone, so
but I want to speculate.
Right, but I'm saying you could look up. We're recording on my phone. That was a burp. It was an internal burp.
Hey, look at that. Yeah, you had a burp, I had a sneeze.
Burp, sneeze. We're
Life
already.
as it is lived.
It's happening, people. It's happening.
We're right here.
We're driving
the ragged edge.
Beautiful vista of Connecticut to our right. It's beautiful, very nice.
Connecticut looks very lovely in the snow.
It does. This guy's driving right up my ass, which is not fun. I am doing the speed limit.
Don't worry about it. Then let him do his thing.
Let him do his thing. So, swings and misses. But we won't be good with dates, we won't be good with names of people, and we won't be good with trivia. We're just going to tell you what we think we know.
Yeah.
And that's what you're going to get.
And
that's
I'm going to speculate.
And you're going to speculate wildly. And I'm going to tell you what I think I know. Because what I did after we watched Freejack was I did go to bed watching a YouTube video. I fell asleep to it that was like, what happened to Freejack?
Oh, cool.
So I have a little bit of information.
So give me the little bit of information, because that'd be the first movie anyway. Let's start with your little bit of
Start with
information about
Freejack.
Freejack.
All right. Well, first of all, because I've talked a lot, Jim, give us the plot rundown. If you
Oh,
can,
I like a plot
of
rundown. I haven't done a
Freejack.
plot rundown in ages.
Plot run. And I'm not even gonna record jingle. I'm just gonna do them live. Plot rundown with Jim Wallace. Like that. Let's just go. Here we go.
Okay, all right, okay, plot rundown. So we start off with Emilio Estevez is a racing driver. We think in New York, but he's racing in a race with like no fans, which is weird. Anyway, he's a racing driver, and at the same time as he's getting ready for a race, Mick Jagger is in some kind of weird Escape from New York rip-off future, who's also getting ready for something, but we don't know what. And then Emilio Estevez has a big crash, and just in the moment of his crash, his body is teleported into the future. Now, what's supposed to happen is his mind is supposed to be, dead. He's supposed to be brain dead, basically. And then, lobotomized, and then a rich bloke's mind gets put into his body. And this is apparently a common practice in the future. You nick people from the past at the moment of death who are younger, and then you put your brain in them.
Yeah.
That's basic. And
ethically, it's not a bad idea.
No, it's okay.
I mean, if they're going to die anyway.
Yeah, agreed.
It's a form of afterlife.
And Tony Hoppers makes that point later on.
It's a form of afterlife.
So, basically what happens is, for plot-related reasons, they're like mucking around with Estevez en route from where Estevez died to like the skyscraper of like electronic MacGuffery, and on the route the convoy is attacked. Estevez escapes, and he is on the run in the future, out of time. He discovers it's only 18 years in the future, but quite a lot has changed. But a lot of people that he knows are still knocking around,
and they look
exactly the same.
No one has aged.
No one has aged at all.
In
it's
18
very weird.
years.
Anyway, either way, it's Estevez in the future running around trying to figure out who wants his brain and what's he going to do about it.
Right.
That was pretty good, right?
It was very good. It was excellent, especially because I really was focusing on the road and not listening. That I'm just assuming.
I suppose one in terms of like people we're going to be talking about.
Yes.
While he's on the run, trying to figure out who's nicked his brain or who wants his brain and why, he's being chased down by Mick Jagger, who is playing the guy that was supposed to, he's the guy in charge of getting his body to the rich bloke. And Rennie Russo is his girlfriend in the past, who's shown up as working for the big corporation that kind of handles all the freejackery in the future.
Yeah.
And then her boss is Tony Hopkins, who is sort of head of the corporation, but very fond of Rennie Russo because she's very good at closing deals. And that's sort of it. So it's Estevez, Rennie Russo's girlfriend in past and future, and Tony Hoppers as rich bloke head of corporation, who is definitely going to help Rennie Russo. That's it.
Right. And obviously the other musician, which I failed to mention, and I cannot believe I failed to mention.
Oh, yeah, he's got a problem as well.
David Johansen from the New York Dolls and Buster Poindexter and Scrooged.
Yes.
Waterworks, Frankie Angel, or whatever.
Niagara
Falls, Frankie Angel, sorry, see, I'm not even going to cut out that I got the quote wrong.
Yeah, that's honesty.
But no, so David Johansen is in the future, Rennie Russo is in the future. David Johansen was sort of his, like, yuppie manager, handler, race car,
and who's the guy, what's his name, from Beverly Hills Cop?
Jonathan Banks.
Jonathan Banks is, like, Jagger's boss.
It's all very convoluted.
Yeah, it's all very convoluted.
So the biggest problem Freejack has, part of the miss in the swing, is that it doesn't really, for a movie, right, that is meant to take a ragtag race car driver from the past into a future that is definitely divided between the haves and the have-nots quite drastically.
Yes.
The haves and how the haves have the haves is never examined.
No.
So we see that it's meant to, first of all, it's meant to take place in New York City, and there's no evidence of it ever really looking like New York City, except when they go down by the bridges. Apart from that, it is so not New York City, it's sort of annoying, and you sort of go, I wish they'd just set it in
anywhere,
future town USA. Like it really, setting it in New York bugged me the whole movie.
Yeah?
Because I'm like, it's just, because a New York movie, even a New York in the Future movie, has a vibe. Like, New York movies are so definitely like New York movies.
Yeah.
And apart from, like I say, the one scene where Jagger's chasing him across the bridge and he implausibly dives off the bridge and survives.
Yeah.
Apart from that one scene, And maybe the bit with the hobo that you could kind of go, all right, I guess this could be down by the docks. Apart from that, nothing else felt New York-y at all.
No.
At all.
No.
They could have shot in Toronto, they could have shot in Philadelphia. There's plenty of cities that have doubled for New York in the past. Vancouver, even.
Yeah.
But they shot in Atlanta, and having been to Atlanta, there's nothing New York-y about Atlanta. The only time that Atlanta has worked, I feel, for New York is the bit weirdly in Anchorman 2 where they redo the joke of all the news guys fighting each other, and there is a park in Atlanta that looks a bit like one of the parks in New York.
Right.
But that's park. This was meant to be like an industrial New York.
Hellscape.
And it to me, it just really didn't work. So that was a problem for me. One of the other misses, as I said, is that they do not establish how the haves have the haves. We know that there is a big corporation. We know that Anthony Hopkins is the head of that corporation.
We know that they have like unbelievably powerful technology that allows you to zap somebody from the past into the future.
Right.
And yet that technology has not been used for anything else except for this one specific thing.
Right.
It's not indicative of like that the haves have all this like technological advancement and the have-nots do not.
Right.
It's just like haves have money and have-nots don't. And by the way, there's a corporation that does this thing, but that's not like blown out to be anything.
Right, and we don't even know if
like if you could zap people from the past, like,
right.
why do they not have like, I don't know, why doesn't Stalin have a talk show? Do you know what I mean? Like they can literally do anything.
Why doesn't Stalin have a talk show?
Yeah.
Okay, that is fantastic that you just pulled that line out of your
saying,
that is
if you have the technology to pull,
if you can pull
anybody
people from the past, why doesn't Stalin have a talk show?
Yeah.
Well, because you have to. So one of the things that was confusing me until we realized later on is that Jagger,
like John Lennon should be like playing gigs in the future. No.
Well, no, because his brain is erased and it would be replaced with whatever.
No, it doesn't have to be erased. Like Estevez woke up fine.
No,
they
no,
voluntarily erased people's brains.
No,
You snatched
hang
Lennon.
on. Estevez,
Yeah.
when he woke up,
Yeah.
they were like, wait, he still has his mind, as if that was a mistake.
Yes, but I think the mistake is in the process, as in.
You're saying they could jigger the process and make sure that your brain wasn't.
Yeah, I'm saying they've jiggered the process to make sure your brain is gone.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And you could say, don't do that because we want John Lennon in the future.
Yeah, and then you because you'd make loads of money, right?
Yeah,
if you had technology to bring Lennon back, you'd be like, yeah,
especially in the
Lennon
80s.
and Elvis.
Right. But that's the other thing is, and again, this is the problem, is they don't go into stuff. So they don't explain how stuff works. They don't explain, like, for example, she is doing a deal with a Japanese company for like mineral rights or something.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, and this is what I mean, is does this corporation run everything? Does it just run some things? Is it only the Freejack Corporation?
Yeah.
If so, how are they making their money? Like there's just a whole slew of, I mean, I suppose rich people are paying them to bring people back from the past. But I mean, in general, what is the deal that he's trying to send her off to Tokyo to do? Like, what's this world? It's never established. and you know, you have one of two options with a man from the past gets dumped fish out of water in the future. Either it has to be a future we can understand, like shorthand, like, it's the future is the same as our world, just more decrepit and awful and everyone wants oil, Mad Max, for example, or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Or it has to be explained in some way in order for, because if you're constantly sat there going, well, why, who's that, and why is that, and where's that, and you know, one of the big glaring things, and I think this is another one of the huge messes, was the fact that when you see the haves area, right? So when you see like the wealthy high rises and the office blocks and whatever, they all have these ridiculously bubbly plastic colourful cars.
The cars are really, it's like it's the future because everyone's got bubbly cars. What more do you want?
Right, but then when you go to where all the paupers live, they're all just driving around in like 1990s sedans and like beat up 80s cabs, and you're like, well, like, which is it?
Yeah.
Is it that cars have evolved to the point where they're all big, bubbly, and seemingly very difficult to maneuver?
Yeah.
Or, and therefore, like, the rich all have the nice new ones, and the poor have adapted old crusty junkyard version of those? Or is it that the rich built all the cars and then we're just like, well, let's just keep them hit, like it's keep them in our little
there's no divide. They talk at the beginning of the movie, and we should probably, after I said this, we should get to the point of like why this is all happening,
right?
As in why this all went down the way that it went down,
right?
But they talk in the beginning of the movie about the idea of when like Russo works at the corporation, but she's behind this impenetrable wall. In other words, they're kind of saying, well, we can't get to the rich people. That's another world. They live behind, like, it's like a gated city is like what they're hinting at. And yet at no point is that Estevez just comes and goes, despite being like a wanted fugitive with his like face everywhere and a reward of $10 million, whatever it was.
Right.
That was my favourite bit of the movie, is when Estevez had to look at the label on his own wrist to know what year he'd come from. You know what year you came from? You were just there. Yeah. I know we don't know, but don't establish that before. Don't establish it now. Anyway,
right.
So the reason
they could have literally been like, "Welcome to the 1991 Grand Prix."
Yeah, right, 91, great, brilliant, thank you, fan-fucking-tastic. Not like I better look at my lap just to be sure.
That yesterday it was 1991.
This year is 2009 or whatever it was.
It was 2009. It was 18
because
years.
there's a big sign over there.
Yes.
Okay, Emilio,
right.
You already know what year it is. Oh no, you don't. You don't know what year you just came from. You fucking idiot. Anyway. So the reason this is all happening, right? We found out during the watching of the movie, is because 40% of
hang on. Are you going to... Oh, okay, yeah.
I'm just saying,
go into this bit now, but I wanted to explore the misses before we did that. Right. No, go ahead. The 40% of
Well, I'm just saying, like, to...
Because there's a few more things I kind of wanted to get into.
Which we can, but I think it's important to establish that one of the reasons that we think, or we believe this is all...
Such a mess. Yes.
Is that they had a disastrous test screening.
Yes.
And they brought the producer, who was also a writer, Ronald Shusett of Alien fame, back to rewrite and redirect 40% of the movie.
Right.
To add basically more comedy. Possibly, we think, because the bubbly car bits were so silly that people couldn't believe how seriously everybody was taking it. And so that's why we think a lot of exposition and understanding or whatever is missing, because those scenes were taken out and replaced with
now, by the way,
Emilio Estevez pretending to be a cowboy.
Right. Well, So what I heard was that the director that is credited for this movie, and because Jim refuses to look it up on his phone, I don't know his name.
Richard Richardson.
It's not that, but okay.
I think it's like Richard.
It's like Gary Worth or something. I don't know.
It's Richard. Like
it's not Richard.
Richard back. That joke about his name signing into the motel in The Wrong Man. Yeah. With him and McDonald.
In The Wrong Guy.
Minutes. The wrong guy. Like trying to read the name that finally written was so funny.
What's even funnier is while Foley is writing the phony name.
Yeah, he looks really happy.
He looks really happy with himself. Like, I've finally come up with a good alias. And then when Kevin McDonald goes to read it, he's like, Shunson, Frinkson, yeah, so good.
So they both agree they've got it right. It's such a good joke.
It's such a good joke.
That's great.
Anyway, so what I heard, and again, I kind of want to go back to the movie.
That's fine, we can go back.
But what I heard was that the original director, the guy who helmed Young Guns 2 before this, was one of the first directors to come out of New Zealand, Peter Jackson style, and found that New Zealand, where really the only way movies were getting funded back then in New Zealand was either independently, like Jackson did, or through the government, right? With
Jeff Murphy.
So we were wrong. I was like... Didn't I say Michael Worth or something? I don't know.
Yeah,
no. Michael Worth's a martial artist, not Michael Worth. I said, anyway, it doesn't matter.
Just think, if you're going to be a director, I would go with Jeffrey.
Yeah,
I would go with Jeff. Directed by Jeff. It's just not...
I would. I'd go one further. I'd go a Jeff joint. That's what I'd go.
Yeah.
Anyway, I really don't know which way it's taking us. Actually, I think I do know. Is this the turning? This is the turning. It's so difficult with the snow everywhere to even see where there's roads.
Yeah.
So... What I heard...
Freejack got the misses.
Was that he was a fan... Or, no, he had, read the original book, liked the original book...
Immortality, Inc.
Immortality, Inc. Wanted to he read the original Shusett and whoever else, because there's like 5 different people who wrote on this script, and didn't like it. He was like, they've taken all the stuff out from the book that's like any good, that even makes the point of making the movie worth anything.
Yeah.
They've just made it a big, stupid action movie. I don't want to do a big, stupid action movie. This should have some sci-fi in it.
Right.
So he wrote a script that had more sci-fi in it.
Okay.
This was all before anything had been shot. And the studio basically turned around and went, "No, you're not shooting that script. Go back to the one where it's all just action films. We want like a big..." What they wanted, the reason why the studio hired Shusett, was they wanted another Total Recall. Right? And what they realized after they made Freejack was, unless you're Arnie and you have that kind of charisma, and unless you hire like a Verhoeven who has a way to put all the exploitation and excitement you want while also giving you a little sci-fi underneath.
Yeah.
Unless you're that combination, it's not possible to make that kind of movie, right?
Yeah, okay.
As we found with everyone trying to rip off RoboCop and Total Recall in the future, if you're not Verhoeven and you don't have a good charismatic leading man, you're fucked, mate. So they wanted another Total Recall.
Right.
They got Shusett on the phone. They were like, "Give us another Total Recall." He was like, "Fine." Took some of the Immortality Inc. stuff, which, what's funny about that as well is that like Total Recall and Immortality Inc., although the books come at their sci-fi-ness from like slightly different directions, in a movie and on paper, they're very similar.
Yeah.
Right? One deals with, are these memories real or are they not? Am I really here? Am I really not? And the other one basically deals with sort of, being in the future and not being in the future, or being in the past, and how do I do, So they wanted Total Recall. Shusett wrote something that looked like that, and the studio was like, "Sure, whatever, fine." The new director that they wanted to hire, because he had just done Young Guns 2 for them, this is Morgan Creek, and Young Guns 2 had done better than Young Guns 1, and so they were like, "Well, that's great, let's just get," like, it was Morgan Creek, who were the people who were like, "Well, we'll just get Estevez and the guy who did Young Guns 2, and that'll be our winning combination," and with Shusett writing it, we are gold, mate.
Yeah,
right? Director comes in, having read the book, goes, "You've gutted this, you've made it pointless, like, this doesn't make any sense. We need to have, like, some actual sci-fi gunnery in it." And from that point, the studio was like, "Yeah, we don't want any of that." And so the director said, "Well, that's fine, have someone else make your movie then, I don't want to make this movie."
Right.
To which the studio, wildly, was like, "Well, you're under contract, and if you don't make this movie, we're going to tell everyone you broke your contract." But he basically was between a rock and a hard place. He could either break his contract and have his name be muddied throughout Hollywood and whatever.
Right.
Or he could sue them, like for breach of contract or whatever.
Jesus, this is heavy.
Yeah, it was a whole thing. And like, it was a no-win scenario. And he was like, "Well, I want to make other movies in Hollywood. I don't want this to be the only film I make in Hollywood. I'm all the way from New Zealand. I really don't want to make this movie, but sure, fine, go ahead." So that's really all I remember from what I listened to on the YouTube video.
Okay.
But it basically sets up the fact that it was a nest of vipers before it even began. Like, the studio was making dumb decisions based on really the most recent summer blockbuster receipts. They were going, this director, this actor, blah, 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 blah. This is going to be great.
Yeah.
Without actually thinking about, well, does the story make any sense?
Or even do those things go together?
Right. So
Does that mean the director and start of Young Guns 2 in a Total Recall movie,
that's what they were hoping.
is that going to work?
That's what they were hoping.
Yeah. Yeah, they were hoping, but like, at no point did they actually think like,
I did
does that
not
work?
get as far in the video as to understand why anyone hired Mick Jagger to do anything, but maybe I can add that in later. So, well, no editing. We're not adding anything.
No editing. We can only speculate as to why somebody went, "Let's get this guy who cannot fucking act,
Yeah.
and has a really distractingly weird face,
Yeah.
to be the like
And let's
ruthless killer."
Let's put him in a helmet so it accentuates
the helmet is so weird.
just how distractingly bad
I just don't
his
know
face
what.
is.
There's so many decisions, like the bubbly cart and the helmet.
Right. So this is what I wanted to get back to.
Okay,
we have about
right.
5 more minutes before we're at the halfway point, and we should jump over to Dick Tracy.
Right, gotcha.
So let's just list like all the things that we cannot believe. If you were making this movie,
Yeah.
that you cannot believe they spent money on because they're such woefully bad
The
decisions.
vibrator bus.
Right. First of all, you don't need a bus in it. But if you are going to have a bus in it, you certainly don't need to dress the bus up like a giant plastic bubbly
It's
dildo.
only background. It just
It's
drives across the
only
screen. That's it.
Background. Also, here's another point. Who uses buses? Poor people use buses.
Yeah.
Rich people don't use buses. They all have vintage cars.
Yeah.
This is the other fucking thing that drove me apoplectic.
Oh, yeah.
The rich people have all these bubbly cars, except the really rich people who have vintage cars from like the 30s.
Yeah.
What? Like, have some consistency.
Yeah.
Do you know they spent over $1 million of the $30 million budget on those cars?
Jesus. Yeah, well, that I can believe. Because
Pissing money up the wall. At one point, and I'm not joking, you see a guy what would normally be in like a farming vehicle taking like animals to market or whatever.
Yeah.
Right? It's literally a bubbly car
Yeah.
that on the back of,
Oh, the
they've
chickens.
precariously stuck like a wooden platform that you would see on like an old-timey southern down-home farm vehicle and filled it with chickens.
Yeah.
And we just went,
What?
what? So wait, they can make bubbly cars, but they can't make trucks that can transport animals normally. Like, what? It was full of dumb ideas like that.
Yeah. It was full of ideas of somebody who wants to try and make it. Oh, no, it's full of ideas of somebody who's trying to make it look futuristic, but doesn't
Right.
have like the coherent vision for that or the talent.
Right, because if you think about like Total Recall, there's certainly that thing that when they get to Mars, like there's bubbly cars and there's that weird-faced cab driver because it's an automated cab, but it has that weird like puppety face or whatever. But you're like, it's an all self-contained, like Mars is a self-contained world that has been built by lunatics.
Yeah.
So therefore it looks like this.
Yeah.
But going, well, it's New York, but between, 30th Street and 80th Street, everything looks like shiny, clean, and bubbly cars, but then the rest of it looks like, I don't know.
Yeah, and there's no, and Estevez, like I said, is able to just travel between the two with no problem. So there's obviously no wall or border or boundary.
Right. But
so how the fuck does that work?
But also, everything in the old world, this also drove me nuts. Like, everything in the, like, poor world looked like it looked like a distressed 1950s.
Yeah.
Because, like, it was all diners and old crumbling apartment buildings and all this sort of stuff.
Hobos.
And
like,
hobos.
by fire. Yeah, well, they're going for depression, weren't they? They were like, is that the depression still happening? But,
Right, there was one line in the whole movie where he went, well, we came out of the 10-year depression. You're like, wait. Examine that a little bit.
Yeah.
No, we're not going to.
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
All right. Well, we won't examine how there was a 10-year depression that apparently set...
And is it over, or is it still happening?
Yeah.
What's going on with that?
Also, according to another line in the movie, the air is completely poisonous with carbon monoxide, nuclear waste, everything else. No effect on anybody.
No.
Nothing at all.
Never
On any of those.
No.
Never brought back up again at all whatsoever.
No.
He goes swimming in the fucking East River. Nothing happens to him.
Yeah.
Absolutely fine, healthy as anything. You're like...
I suppose that's what happens when you have a... Well, now you've explained that. That's what happens when you have a disinterested director.
Right.
Because those are the details of needing to be a coherent world.
Right.
Would happen because a director cares about what they're making. Like Verhoeven with Total Recall would care. Like Total Recall's only got like 3 sets. So,
Right.
But it's like, let's make those 3 sets really live.
Right.
And we'll make sure we set any action there. And we can do everything there. We can have like establishing shots there. We can have action scenes there. We can have dialogue scenes there. We can do everything there as long as we like spread it out.
Right.
We can really dress these sets and bring that world to life. And he's going to care about that because he cares that like it all makes sense.
Right. But
But
I've got a
this bloke
feeling...
doesn't give a shit because he doesn't want to make that movie.
I've got a feeling though, and I don't know, but I've got a feeling that lots of those like bubbly car, bright colours, all that stuff was sort of, I think that's part of the reshoots. I don't see this guy from New Zealand, unless the studio and Ronald Shusett were breathing down that guy's neck, being like, we've got to have the bubbly cars. We've got to have them. We've got to have the bubbly cars. There's one point during a race where it cuts to like behind, they're all chasing Emilio Estevez in one bubbly car, and behind it cuts to like 8 bubbly cars all driving along on the road.
No, see, I don't think
hang
so.
on, you didn't let me finish my bit.
Sorry, okay, sorry. Go on.
Well, it looked like the fucking wacky races.
Oh, yeah.
You know the wacky race with Catch That Pigeon and Dastardly and Muttley.
Yeah, no, that's exactly.
And they all have
like.
different weird cars. There was and the thing was, we found out that it had a disastrous test screening, and therefore they had to reshoot like 40% of it or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, of course it had a disastrous test screening, because when you see those cars, your reaction is not, oh, this is cool, I'm in a futuristic car chase. Your reaction is to laugh. Like I had an unplanned gut laugh, and I went, that's a fucking wacky racers.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, like, that's why I think the word disastrous is so revealing, because I think you're right. If you're making like a serious, gritty action movie,
right,
and people are laughing during your chase scene, that's supposed to be really exciting, that would be disastrous. You know what I mean? Like,
but the other thing we should mention before we move over to Dick Tracy is that there is, I would say, at least 70% of the film is shot really nicely.
Yeah.
Like when they're in the poor, gritty, rundown world, the cinematographer suddenly is like, oh, I know how to shoot this.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it looks really good. When they're in the sci-fi world, top of the tower, we're going to jump into Anthony Hopkins' brain. Yeah. No one has any idea what they're doing. No, they've just gone, I don't know, fractals are big right now. Let's just do some CGI fractals.
That's presumably that's reflective of the movie is either directed by somebody who's got no experience of directing sci-fi, who's like a Young Guns 2 director. Like those.
Well, that's not where he started. He actually made a sci-fi movie that everyone really praised back in New Zealand.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it was more of like a
gritty,
exploitation style,
gritty things. So in other words, like yes, if you want gritty, like Young Guns 2 would be gritty, right, or old timey, then he's your guy. But like fancy, and maybe that was his vision of the future. Like maybe he didn't want to do bubbly. Like I don't think he wants to do bubbly cars.
He definitely didn't want to do bubbly.
I think the studio, but to your point, it's like no, this is the film we're doing. Because I think you're right. They looked at Total Recall and they went, oh, those bubbly cars are cool.
Right.
Maybe we could even do like a toy line out of those. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like maybe this is a big hit because it's got Mick Jagger in it. Right. Like Mick Jagger's popular with the kids.
Can you imagine being the guy who spent $1 million on those cars, and then when people saw them, they openly guffawed? Yeah. Can you imagine the soul destroying?
Yeah, because you look at you realize like, well, those bubbly cars work like you're saying in Total Recall because
the
whole
driving?
World is mad, and also like they're just like they just drive a short distance. Right. It's enough time to go like, oh, that's kind of a weird
car. It's a cab. It just takes them.
And then you like move on to the rest of the world, and that's fine. So it's like a little flavour or something. It's not like, but it's just like it's like their only set dressing for the future. Right. Are those things.
Yeah. Oh, and again, I think it's because they gutted the part of the script where they explored the future world. Right. First of all, 18 years into the future, I believe in the book, it's like hundreds of years in the future. Right. I believe in the book that he jumps forward like almost a millennia, I think. I think it's like almost 1,000 years.
Yeah, for some reason they felt like, oh, the story between Russo and Estevez is the real heart of this picture.
Right.
But no, it isn't.
So this is the last thing, and we really have to get on to Dick Tracy, but this is the last thing. They don't age anybody.
No.
And it's really, I get it, they want Russo to be, you know, about as attractive as Russo could be, which she's not our type of person, but fine, whatever. Some people might like Russo, no judgment of people's looks or anything like that. But they want Russo to be as young and sexy as she possibly can. And I guess with David Johansen, they were like, well, I'll put a hat on him. Hats age people, right? And you're like, well, whatever. So they don't age anybody.
No.
And I'm sorry, in 18 years, I don't know, put a little talcum powder in David Johansen's hair. We're not like, I'm not saying like give him full prosthetics, but just make him look a bit older.
That feels like the level of detail that a director who cared about what they were doing would do, but who doesn't. Like the studio executives aren't on the back going like, oh, we should do that with Johansen's hair.
Studio executives like keep everyone looking young and sexy. They all have to be young and sexy.
That's true.
Because they have no fucking idea of what they're doing.
Yeah.
So swing and a miss. The reason why Freejack is one, the only reason really to revisit Freejack, I think, is because it is an intriguing swing and a miss. And secondly, the cinematography in places is legitimately beautiful, and I wish they'd leaned heavier into that.
Yeah,
that's my review.
Fair enough.
All right, sir. Dick Tracy. I've talked a lot. You go right ahead. Talk about Dick Tracy.
Well, should I do a plot recap?
Plot recap? Well, if you can. I mean,
bloody hell. So the plot of Dick Tracy is, it's the 30s, I guess. It's kind of like the height of, Al Capone era gangster culture. And so...
there's even an ill-advised Untouchables, parody. Where he's like, I want Tracy dead. I want him, and he flips the table. It's like De Niro being like, I want... Yeah.
Right, I missed that. So the basic idea is Dick Tracy, based on a 1930s comic book, in which Dick Tracy is kind of like a lantern-jawed hero, and he chases after very weirdly drawn and exaggerated criminals. So they're called flat tops, so the guy's got a flat head. Big Boy, I found out, is supposed to be absolutely enormous.
He is. Pacino designed his own makeup.
Yeah, in order to not look like an idiot.
And has used that makeup artist for the rest of his career, by the way.
Oh, interesting. And then there's a criminal called Prune Face, who's got a really weird ring. So that's the idea of the strip, right? You've got lantern-jawed hero chases after uniquely, interestingly drawn villains who have gangstery sounding names that also reflect how they look. And that's presumably the strip. This is Dick Tracy chases villains. That's basically it.
Right.
So the movie is kind of the same.
And there was a cartoon series that sort of was around when we were growing up, but not really.
Yeah, but it sort of was. Yeah. So anyway, so the movie assumes you know all this, and so it just drops you in it where all that's happening is basically, Dick Tracy chases these villains, and that's basically what's going on.
Right.
And then they choose to make what drives the plot throughout the movie is a number of things which become increasingly more confusing. One of which is Dick Tracy's relationship with somebody Trueheart, I can't remember, Tessa Trueheart, who's played by Glenn Headley, who I don't care for at all.
Oh, she's perfect.
Glenn Headley, no, she's boring. She's boring and bland, I don't like it. Anyway.
She's not. That's unfair. What they do with Glenn Headley makes sense because she has that high, wispy, pathetic sounding voice, but the whole point of her is that underneath all that, she knows who she is and she knows how to tell people to get stuff.
Fair enough.
Anyway,
that's fair. All right.
It works for the character.
So Beatty's got a relationship with Hetty, and that whole thing is there's a plot line where it's what the plot here, or the heart of the movie is, can Tracy give up chasing criminals in order to be with this woman?
Or how's that
gonna resolve?
Or I don't know. Figure out a work-life balance even a little bit, even a tiny bit.
Yeah, so it's all, but that's the whole thing. It's it's basically what they're setting up is, it's unsustainable. Tracy, there's talk of a desk job, but he doesn't want to be on a desk job. So that's one thing. Then another thing is a kid comes in. There's a kid who's witnessed a murder, even though that never comes back. The kid doesn't testify or anything at all. The kid's just a kid who shows up and becomes a part of their life. And then it's sort of okay, I guess now Tracy's life of being a crime fighter is being disturbed by a kid coming into the picture, and he's got to take care of this kid. Right? Okay. And then there's another further plot line, which is that Big Boy's finally going to take control of the whole city and take out Tracy. Oh no, sorry, so that's third plot line. Then plot line number 4 is there's a mysterious character called No Face, who is seemingly trying to take out Big Boy and Dick Tracy at the same time for reasons unknown.
Well, the movie starts as Big Boy. The movie starts as Big Boy, Al Pacino's character, is making a play for all the other gangsters' territory in town.
Yeah, it's pretty standard.
He wants to put together a big board of villains who are then going to oversee lots of little villainy. With Al Pacino basically still making the most amount of money out of any of it.
So that's plot line number 3 is Al Pacino so there's a bit with Al Pacino framing Beatty or framing Dick Tracy.
Well, that's another thing. The framing thing is a whole other thing.
No, that's all part of plot line number 3, which is Big Boy trying to take over the city and taking out Dick Tracy, who's in the way.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right, except that throughout the movie, and this is also what's confusing, throughout the movie, and I have an explanation a little bit, but throughout the movie, the question is not how do we take out Dick Tracy, although that's certainly part of it. It's what do we do with Tracy? So throughout the movie, every 15 minutes, Pacino tries to do something with Tracy, whether it's kill him, whether it's bribe him, whether it's get him out the way, whether it's whatever. And it's just, here's why I think it's so disjointed.
Okay.
Is because Dick Tracy originally was like a serial. Yeah. Right? It was like 15 minutes every week or whatever, or 15 minutes in front of a movie in the theater or whatever. Yeah. However serials were done. And all serials care about is getting you to the next cliffhanger. Like, remember the Batman 60s TV show, which I compared to it before? Yeah. The first 15 minutes was always, get up to the point where the Joker would put him in a giant teacup with hot water about to pour on him, and it'd be like, how is Batman going to get out of this? And then the next 15 minutes would be him getting out of it.
But the one I remember is Flash Gordon.
Well, whatever, Flash Gordon.
No. But my point about Flash Gordon was interesting is in Flash Gordon they would do a thing that I can't remember what they talked about. They talked about it in another movie. But the idea was they would actually film him in a disastrous situation he could possibly get out of. Like, he'd be in a rocket, and the rocket would or like a car or whatever, and it'd go over the side of a cliff, and it would literally plunge off the side of a cliff. Right. And that's where they would do the cliffhanger. It'd be like, it would come off the cliff. And then the next week, it would come towards the end of the cliff, and then something else would happen. In other words, they would start the serial from 10 seconds before it ended, and then change what happened. And that was quite common. So that goes into the idea, like you're saying, of you're just creating a totally standalone 15-minute thing.
Right. Which means that, like, what Dick Tracy feels to me like is they watched a bunch of episodes of the serial and they went, oh, okay, put the kid in there. Oh, wait, the Tess Trueheart thing. Yeah, let's have him in there. Yeah. Whatever. It's what happens with, and it's very episodic, right? Yeah. So it's almost like, this week, Big Boy tries to kill Tracy. This week, Big Boy tries to bribe Tracy. Yeah. This week, Big Boy is stopped from killing Tracy because No Face shows up and blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Like, it's all these elements that in 15 minutes might work.
Oh, yeah, sorry, so that's another part of plotline number. Because also, the point is, these aren't like plotline number one. And like,
none of them go all the way through the movie.
But,
the movie's a mess.
But my point is, each plotline has its own. So the him and Glenn Heady, can they make it work thing? No, actually, you know what? It's a totally separate plotline. Plotline number 5 is Madonna.
Is he going to end up with Madonna?
Fall in love, but they can't make it because he's married to the job, but also because he's got a steady girlfriend, and she's trouble and all that. That's plotline number 5. Right. There's just so many things going on. Now, and like you say, none of them resolve.
Now, when you watch an old film noir with like Bogart or Burt Lancaster or whatever, right?
Yeah, because you started about halfway through the movie. You started getting really bothered by how bad Beatty was, and I completely agree with you.
Oh, Beatty! So first of all, Beatty is terrible. He should never have directed, and he should never have acted in the movie. He has no idea the movie he's making, and he cannot keep control on all the plot strands, and instead chooses to try and tell the audience to not bother really getting involved in any of the plot lines by every 10 minutes doing a musical montage of him either arresting criminals or criminals making lots of money or Madonna endlessly singing with her thin, out-of-tune, reedy voice or whatever it is. Every 8 to 10 minutes, there's yet another montage of just stuff happen, the kid eating a bunch of ice cream or whatever. And it's almost a way to kind of distract the audience and go, all those things that you were trying to put together in your head, don't worry about it, just enjoy it, right? Right. It doesn't work because by the third montage, you're like, really? It's only 20 minutes into the movie and we're having a third montage. What's going on? But if you go back to like film noir, right, all these things that we're talking about, a regular film noir might be able to juggle quite well. Like, there's always the femme fatale. There's always the, like, sturdy, reliable woman in their life, right? So that's already a trope. There's often someone they have to look after, whether it's a kid, whether it's an animal, whether it's another girl, whatever it is.
But wait,
there's always...
Yeah. But my point about those two plot lines, right? The plot line number 1 and plot line number 5. But you're right? You're right that they would be able to juggle all those things. But it's because I just wanted to explain. You're right, you'd be able to juggle both those things. What's interesting about plot number 1 and plot number 5 is with plotline number 5, i.e. Madonna and the reliable woman would be reliable. Do you know what I mean? Like, that would not be in question outside of Beatty's, like, choice. There wouldn't be like, oh, are they or are they not going to make it work because of the job? It's like, but is it because of the job or is it because of Madonna?
No, I understand.
It undercuts both.
Yeah, I didn't finish what I'm...
Sorry, yes, good point, yes.
So there are all these film noir tropes that are very possible to all turn up in one or two films, right?
Yeah.
I think the problem with it, dude, there are 3 lanes. What the fuck are you doing driving up my ass? Go in any other fucking lane. Seriously?
They want you in the slow lane.
Oh my god.
Oh, he's in the slow lane now.
Fuck me.
He went in the slow lane.
Out of my fucking ass. What a prick.
Is he going to undertake you?
No, he is now. That's the fast lane anyway.
Oh, that's the fast
lane. I don't
lane.
care about it. I'm trying to drive the speed limit. He wants to go faster, but don't drive my ass.
That's what the fast lane's for, presumably.
Anyway, sorry guys.
No, it's just Foley, mate.
No editing. So, I just hate people who fucking ride your tail. It's just so annoying.
That's fair.
Especially on a 3-lane highway. On a 1-lane back road, I understand it. But on a 3-lane highway, like, just go in any other lane.
It's as bad as interrupting you when you're trying to make a complicated
so my point
film
is,
noir related point.
My point
about,
is,
Dick Tracy.
There are film noir tropes that obviously Dick Tracy, even in the cartoon strip or the comic cartoon series or whatever, would play up to. The mistake I think he makes is he tries to make, rather than making it tropes within one overarching story.
Yeah.
Right? Where you go, I understand why Bogart feels this way about this woman, or I understand why Sidney Greenstreet is doing this with Peter Lorre, or whatever it is. Because it's all just, there's one storyline, but within it there are lots of tropes.
Yeah.
He's taken the tropes and gone, well, that's a storyline, 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 which I think also comes from the episodic nature of Dick Tracy in general. And I think he just doesn't have a handle on how to tell that story. I also think that what's funny about watching Dick Tracy is it shines a light on the fact of just how well written and just how well acted those film noirs of the 40s and 50s really were, because they accomplished so much in like 85 minutes. But back to Beatty. Beatty is completely wrong for Tracy. He is completely and utterly wrong. If you're going to have all these people as the villains hamming it up and Al Pacino, and he blah, 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 like he's doing all this business, to your point, Tracy has to be a one-line spouting, lantern jaw film noir hero, right?
Yeah.
He has to have that, I don't like dames who get in my face kind of, whatever. He has to be that guy. Right?
Yeah.
If you're going to have cartoony bollocks going on everywhere else. The problem with Dick Tracy, you never know who Dick Tracy is. I have not a handle on who Warren Beatty thinks Dick Tracy is meant to be in the story that he's telling about Dick Tracy.
Yeah, because he's supposed to be clearly some kind of super cop. And yet at no point in the movie do we see him do anything even remotely good as a cop.
No.
He doesn't solve any crimes. He doesn't stop it. Even though he knows who all the criminals are, all he does is singly fail to pull off even the end, which is really terrible.
Right.
Even the end, he doesn't do anything. There's no quick thinking. There's no smart bit of psychology. Nothing. It just all kind of happens. And so he's just a guy in the middle of all of it. They've clearly gone, well, the interesting thing about Dick Tracy is like all the criminals. That's what it's really about. At no point does Beatty look like he really wants to play Dick Tracy. He looks like he wants to direct the Dick Tracy movie. Right. That's what he wants to do.
Do you know Scorsese wanted to direct this? And Beatty wouldn't give him final cut? And that says all I need to know about Warren Beatty. If Martin Scorsese comes to you and goes, I want to make a Dick Tracy picture, and Warren Beatty goes, oh, great. And then Scorsese's like, but I need final cut. And
obviously, I'm Martin Scorsese.
Yeah, and Beatty goes, well, no, we can't do that.
You can't have final cut because I've got ideas. You're Warren Beatty, shut up.
Yeah.
Your ideas are shit.
And look, I understand everyone screaming at us because there was a point in the 70s where Warren Beatty was considered like, an Altman-esque level auteur. But I'm sorry, whatever that was in the 70s, it don't exist anymore. Why are there so many people here? Damn it. All right, I got to turn around and I don't know what to do. I might just do it.
Oh, we parked over there.
No. I can park over there, but I need to do a U-E to get around it to it.
Go into.
Let's go do it.
Let's go do it. Okay.
Let's go do it.
Oh, nice. Nice.
Yeah, thank you.
That's top U-turning.
Thank you.
We should wrap up, right?
Well, yeah, no. So BT is definitely the problem with Dick Tracy.
Yes, agree.
And also not nailing down just sort of one storyline. Should have had one storyline.
One storyline. You didn't have the same problem as me, but I had a problem with the lighting, the way that parts of it were very, very stylized. The colours of the walls and the lampposts and all that.
Oh,
stuff.
it looks the business. I mean, it won an
Parts
Oscar
of it
for
look
set,
the business.
for set
but,
decoration.
and the matte paintings are amazing.
Is this?
I think so. No.
I can park ahead of this.
Yeah, park ahead of it, I think so, yeah. So the matte paintings are amazing, but there's too many. Like the thing of like having people walking through matte paintings was really cool, but there's too many bits where they're sort of in an apartment where the door is yellow and the table is green and all that, and that's great. But then the walls are just sort of beige. There's just
that really bothered you. I don't really understand.
No, I'm just saying. They went to a great deal of trouble to create this look and these colours and this feel. And I don't really feel like they followed through with the way they lit it. So it all just looked phony, just drew attention to how phony it was, as opposed to writing in a way that makes it more stylized. But that was just me.
Yeah, that didn't bother me really. I thought the
BT thing was right. You were right about that.
The costumes, the makeup. Well, we're not getting out yet. We'll finish up the show.
What should I do with the sunglasses?
So BT's. Wow, everyone comes to the archive on a Sunday, I guess.
I guess so.
Or this part of Bridgeport. But BT's a problem. The script is a problem. Set decoration, cinematography, I was fine with. Didn't really bother me too much.
I didn't really feel like they did.
Madonna is a terrible singer, but at least knows what movie she's in.
Yeah.
And at least knows how to vamp it up.
The criminals kind of bother me a bit because it's a really fun idea there, but then they didn't really use them all that much.
So here's the funny thing about Dick Tracy, right? So you have a thing where the reason why Batman 89 works, and I think no one gives it credit for, because everyone talks about Jack Nicholson's Joker, right?
Right.
But the reason why Batman 89 works is because Keaton is doing something genuinely watchable and interesting with Batman. The problem with a lot of other Batmans and a lot of other Batman films is it's all about the villains. It's because the villains are the interesting ones, and all Batman is a rich prick who puts a suit on and pulls out this and blah, 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 blah. And you're just like, I don't care.
Yeah.
So that's often a thing, right? Dick Tracy is very much, and the reason why I said like they're trying to play on the 89 Batman thing, is Dick Tracy is, the studio goes, oh, we've got another Batman on our hands. This is great. But again, BT does not have the idea of how to play Dick Tracy compelling or interestingly.
He's also got no track record like Burton of creating visually interesting and unique things.
What Dick Tracy is visually interesting and unique, so I can't really say it, but it is. So I can't I understand where you're coming from, but it is visually interesting and unique. You can't say it's not. There's not another movie that looks like Dick Tracy.
No. I don't mean that. I just mean that there's a control over the total look of the movie. Like Burton, wherever he's shooting.
Yeah, you were really worried about the beige walls in his apartment. It really wasn't that big.
No, I know. But I think there's one of the things about Batman is that no matter where he's shooting, it's a lot like Verhoeven and Total Recall, right? That same idea. But you control the environment.
But you're saying that Dick
is...
Tracy doesn't have that, and I'm saying it categorically does.
No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's not a visually interesting or unique movie. It is. What I'm saying is
it's the only thing it has.
That like Total Recall and Batman, they both do something similar, which is they set things. There's a couple of sets in those movies, and they set things there, and the reason that they just work within a couple of sets, like Gotham City only has that one that square.
Well, that's the same with Dick Tracy. I just don't want to go down this road because it's not the problem with Dick Tracy.
Okay.
Well, I'm just saying Dick Tracy has the diner, it has the nightclub, and it has.
I understand what you're saying.
BT's apartment and the police station. It really only has 4 sets, and then everything else is just matte paintings.
Fair enough.
I mean, finish your thought, but you know what I'm trying to say.
No,
right?
I know what you're trying to say. No, carry on. The plot line and BT.
So the thing with Batman is that always has a problem with it, is that the villains are infinitely more interesting than Batman, right? And I feel like the only person who really solved that problem was Keaton. With Dick Tracy, what they've tried to do is they've gone, well, let's put all the villains in, because what do people remember from the cartoon strip is all these funny looking villains.
Right.
And won't it be great to have all this makeup and funny looking villains and blah, 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 right? The problem is you then get what you get with modern superhero movies, which is the moment they have more than one villain in a modern superhero movie, Spider-Man 3, the Raimi Spider-Man is a prime example, is because you can't give the interesting villains enough room to breathe on their own, right? And because you've got, you're also trying to tell a story about what Spider-Man's going through or what Batman's going through, or whatever it is, right? Adding 2, 3, 4, 5 villains just over eggs the entire pudding.
And presumably, like the fact that Pacino won't wear the proper makeup and so doesn't look that much. He's not the same level of weirdness as the other criminals. He's not even that interesting, even though he's the main one. He doesn't have as much. I mean, he's Pacinoing it up,
right?
Like his acting style is certainly in keeping with the makeup.
Yeah, I mean, again, I don't have enough of a connection to the original series to really care. But yes, I know what you mean. I just think. I think the villains in this storyline are because he's got all these high-name actors playing them. That's what it is. It's like, well, we have to give Pacino screen time. We have to give Hoffman screen time. We have to do whatever, right? And then he's got other friends of Beatty that he probably met at a nightclub that they all slept with the same women, like James Caan or whatever, who just shows up to do one scene because it's like, oh, look, we got James Caan.
Yeah.
But so you have villain fatigue. You have an actor who doesn't know how to play the lead role. You have too many plot lines. And so I just think Dick Tracy and I think Freejack seem to have the same problem, but coming at it from a different way. Freejack has a director who wished it could be his vision, but instead the studio trampled all over it.
Right.
Dick Tracy has a studio that's like, we need another Batman tomorrow, and this comes out a year after or a year and a half after Batman.
Right.
We need another Batman a year after, right away. And Beatty's like, I've always wanted to make Dick Tracy, and they've gone, great, go do your artistic vision.
Right.
It's the same problem, right? But from two different angles.
But in the second one, I guess Beatty is in agreement with the studio for what they want. He wants to provide what they want. Like, they're not squabbling about it. He's just not equipped to do it successfully.
Yeah, and I don't think the script is there. I think they think they can trade. I think Tracy feels to me like we can trade on the costumes, the makeup, the set design. We've got Stephen Sondheim doing the music. Yeah. We've got all these famous actors doing this thing. We've got Beatty, writing, directing, and producing and starring. Like, how can this fail?
Yeah.
Well, it can fail because no one sat down and went, what story are we telling?
Yeah.
So that's how it can fail.
And also, like you say, Beatty's not a good enough Dick Tracy.
But he's not playing Dick. I don't know what he's playing or who he's playing.
Yeah.
And so both really interesting failures, both really fun to watch and interesting to talk about. But ultimately neither good movie at all.
No, definitely not. I mean, I wouldn't recommend anybody watch either of them.
No. So if you're sat there going, well, maybe there's some lost gems there. No.
Definitely watch the wrong guy and Hardware and City Hall and Existence, but not those two. In fact, the only two we talked about are the ones I wouldn't recommend watching.
Yeah. Good. All right. And that makes it the latest episode of the After Movie Driver. After Movie Drive Home. We're not driving home. We drove to the archive, so it's not even accurate.
Well, ultimately you're driving home. And you're taking me to New York.
Shut up.
Fair enough.